What's up everybody? Tiffany Outdoors here. Today we're going to make a growth chart that looks like a ruler. There's the hawk. Before there was a Tiffany Outdoors, there was Tiffany the farmer.
On a U-turn when possible.
No, we're not U-turning.
Hi. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, Boo. What?
So I made one of these many years ago, and I gave it to my dad so that he can measure my niece and my nephew as they grow. Whenever they go to his house, they can mark it. It'll be just some cute little fun interactive thing to do. Now I made that way before I started doing YouTube stuff. So today I'm going to show you how I made mine. Alright, we're going to start off with a 1x6 common board, and it's going to be 6 feet long. First thing I want to do is shave off both ends to get it exactly 6 feet. And then we'll go from there. Next thing I'm going to do is sand this thing down. I've already gotten 2 splinters. One of them made me bleed. So I'm going to take my sander, sand down all the burrs and edges that are on here. The facing part is already smooth, but what I'm going to also do is take 2 passes with the orbital sander along the edge to knock off that edge. It's because it's kind of sharp. At the end of this board there was a little splinter down there, so I put some wood glue on there and clamped it up. I'm just going to leave that there for now, and I'm going to move on to my next step, which is marking off the measurements. This part's going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to use a combination square, and what I'm going to do is, like for my 1 foot mark, the 1 foot mark is going to be 2.5 inches long, so I set my combination square up for 2.5 inches, butt it up against, make my mark, and then keep moving on up to the 6 foot mark. My 1 inch measurements are going to be 1.5 inches long, and the 1/2 inch measurement is going to be 1 inch long. Alright, got those measurements in my head and on a piece of paper. Who am I kidding? Alright. We're going to start at the bottom. Let me show you how we're going to do this. Okay, I've chosen this end to be the bottom. And what we're going to do is measure up 6 inches. And that's going to be our first 1 foot mark. Yes. And how this is going to work is you're going to have your customer hang this up 6 inches from the floor, okay, so that you'll have basically 6.5 feet. All right, so there's my first 1 foot measurement, and then I'm just going to use my tape measure, go all the way up. Like I said, this is already set up for 2.5 inches, so all I have to do is butt it up against here and make my mark. You don't have to make these marks really hard. And then what you're just going to go is from here, from your 2 foot mark, just go every 12 inches all the way up to your 6 feet. Next thing I'm going to mark off is my 1 inch measurement. So I'm going to readjust this down to 1.5 inches and then tighten it up. Okay, now you see me do that. And now what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to take that all the way on down, and then next I'm going to do my 1 inch, half inch my 1/2 inch measurements, and then I'm going to readjust this to readjust that to 1 inch. Then every 1/2 inch, I'm going to make my mark. All right, I'm going to do this all the way down to the other end, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, the next step is heat up a wood burning tool, and I have the small round tip on it, and I'm waiting for that to warm up, and then we're just going to go in and wood burn our lines. And once again, this is going to come into play. Make sure you have a metal one, don't use a plastic one, and use this as the guide for your wood burning tool. That way all of your lines are nice and straight. Now I'm just going to go along here and double check and make sure there's no pencil marks left on here. I'm just going to go through with this big eraser and erase any pencil marks that I see on here and get rid of those. There's a spot down here that I did some glue up here, and I'm just going to take the sandpaper and sand off the glue. Now that all of the lines on the growth chart are done, I'm going to flip this over, put on my sawtooth hanger. Then I've decided that I'm just going to put a clear finish of lacquer on this, let it dry, and then we'll put on our foot marker numbers. All right, let's finish this thing up. That lacquer has dried. Now it's time to put on our numbers. And I've already got those prepared on my transfer tape. And now I'm just going to put them on.